I'm Chef John Folse. Food is so much more than nutrition here in the South. Every weekend on Louisiana's back roads and bayous, our festivals celebrate the food, music, and cultures that make us unique. Why not join me as we visit the fairs and festivals of our state and cook up another great taste of Louisiana?
Funding for this program is provided by the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Vieux Carré, Zydeco, Atchafalaya, Natchitoches. In Louisiana, you'll say things you've never seen before.
When Mark Twain decided to write his famous short story about a jumping frog, he went way out west to Calaveras County, California. Well, personally, I think he should have stopped right here at Rayne, Louisiana. You see, Rayne is a lot more than just some Cajun village west of Lafayette. It's the frog capital of the world. And every Labor Day weekend, about 100,000 people come to this town to take part in festivities ranging from frog jumping to Cajun cooking. Well, it sounds like a lot of great fun to me, so why don't we all just grab our frogs and go get signed up for that frog jumping contest? I already have mine. I'll see you at the finish line. I think the greatest thing about visiting Rayne, other than the Frog Festival, of course, is the opportunity to view unique wall murals painted on buildings throughout the city, all depicting frogs in some fashion or other. Yes, they are truly one of a kind and a must-see on your next visit to Acadiana. Although this festival has many activities spread over a 3-day period, it's the Jumping Frog Contest that captivates the attention and imagination of most at this festival. The Lions Club of Rayne runs the event, and I was happy to chat with Wayne Toups, this year's coordinator, as to the details surrounding the contest. How long has the Derby actually been going on?
Okay, this is the 49th year that we do this thing.
Now, I notice all the beautiful queens with a little cage with a frog in it. Where do all those frogs come from?
Okay, we have a guy by the name of John Como who catches our frogs for us every year, and he keeps them in a cage that he has, and when he brings them to us, we put them in the little boxes and everything, for the girls to jump.
Now, I know the big question is going to be, what happens to those frogs after the Derby?
Okay, after the Derby, we bring them back to where he caught them, and I think this year he caught them in the cove. And after we finish with them, we bring them back to him, and he takes them back to the cove, and we'll get a fresh batch of frogs for the next year.
Well, great. So that gives you a good supply for queens from now on.
From now on, we do it.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having us here.
Okay, we enjoyed y'all coming.
The contestants vying for queen of this year's festival must first enter a beauty pageant and then dress in colorful jockey outfits for the Jumping Frog Contest. Points are given to girls with the best-dressed frogs, ranging in characters from Humpty Dumpty to Santa Claus and a green Indian princess called Polka Hopper. Parade before the judges, but at all times must display a terrific rapport with their animals. Imagine for a moment your daughter doing this. Go to sleep, little froggy. Sure, the job's tough, but somebody has to be crowned, and this year's winner, well, it was me. Nope, just kidding. It was my frog. I was asked to judge a cooking contest, and it's really stiff competition this year. 6 chefs entered with dishes containing frog as the main ingredient. It's difficult to judge food in most places around the country, but here in South Louisiana, where everybody's a good cook, the job seems impossible. This year's grand prize went to Alicia Blankenship for her curried frog masterpiece. She walked away from the competition with not only a great gold medal for her neck, but a beautiful wall plaque for her kitchen. Kermit would feel right at home in Rayne, where images of frogs are everywhere, from umbrellas to Little Miss Tadpole and even tattoos for the kids. Frogs may be purchased in every shape, size, and variety. For those of you who may be a little squeamish about holding or petting one of those green beauties, why not come and join us at the Frog Festival? I'm sure one of those beautiful young girls will help you through your inhibition, and who knows, go ahead, kiss one. It may just be your prince. A festival celebrating bullfrogs. Where else but in the heart of Acadiana? But I tell you, imagine the year 1880. 3 brothers arrived from France, the Wild Brothers, and they settled in the swamplands of Louisiana in the town of Rayne. And all of a sudden, they're in the shipping business, and they want to start shipping goods from America back to their homeland of France. And it takes them about 5 or 10 years in that little settlement to notice that frogs are about 3 to 4 times the size of any frog they've ever seen in France. They're so intrigued by it that they decide, hey, we have to package these frog legs, send them back to France as a gourmet delicacy, and started to ship frogs salted in these big oak barrels that you saw in that beautiful mural. And all of a sudden, the industry developed in Rayne, and frogs were being shipped overseas in salted oak barrels all the way to the Frenchmen as gourmet dishes on all of the menus throughout Paris, throughout France. And that's how Rayne became the frog capital of the world. Now, when you think of frog legs, most people around the country think of these little bitty things about 3 or 4 inches long. Fact is, in Louisiana, if we see these little bitty legs, we think to ourselves, my God, somebody just harvested a little tiny tadpole. If you think I'm kidding, take a look at this platter right here. Wow, look at this little frog right here. This little, no, I'm going to take that one away. I'm going to take that one with me. Look at these things. Look at this monster here. If you think that you've ever seen frogs this size, look at the legs. Fill my hand, these 2 jumbo legs. And they're very, very tender. And in fact, when you think of a dish that we use veal shanks, we use the long bone of the veal leg, we call it Osso Buco, a long bone. And that's what I'm going to make with these beautiful frog legs, the turned vegetables, the carrots and the squash and the onions, bacon and bacon fat. All of these things are going to go into my saute pan to create Osso Buco of frog legs. And I know you must be thinking, my God, how can that possibly be? But it is. It's going to be a great dish. We're going to begin the way we normally begin Osso Buco, with a little bit olive oil and a touch of bacon fat. Now remember, if you want to stay away from all of those heavy fats, just eliminate the bacon fat and go ahead and use a little vegetable oil and small amounts of it. Now, of course, we have to bread the frog legs. So I have my flour with a little thyme, basil, pepper, cayenne pepper. Just kind of put your own spices in there. And then I'm going to dust 2 or 3 of these wonderful legs down in the flour, because this is the way you have to coat your Osso Buco to make sure that the braising doesn't tear them apart. So go ahead and dust off all of that excess flour, and then right down into the saute pan with all of that olive oil. And look at that. Boy, is that a nice saute? I love these skillets. These cast iron skillets are the best piece of cooking equipment in the world. They retain heat so well that I love to use them whenever I'm doing any sauteing. And I want to just kind of cook them here for a couple of minutes. I don't want to overcook them because, of course, we're going to put them in the oven or just pot roast them. You can do either one. I like to put a lid on and throw them in the oven at about 300 degrees for a little while, or just pot roast them on top of the stove with a lid on this skillet. Now, just go ahead and turn these. Look how they start to brown real quickly. You just want to sear them because there's not a lot of marbling here, of course. There's not a lot of fat in these legs, although they are very, very tender. Most people think of giant frog legs like this as being something really tough. But if you braise them too long, they'll really fall apart. So this dish should only cook about 15 to 20 minutes once all of the liquids are back in this pot. So now that that's in, I'm going to come in with a little touch of all of these wonderful tourneed or turned vegetables. This is zucchini squash, carrots. Of course, you have here a little bit of that really nice little spring onions. I'm putting garlic in here. You can see that we can use whatever we want. I can even come back and put some additional seasonings, a little bit more of the onions, and put some color in here more than we already have. You know, I love color. Put a little bit of that colored bell pepper in here. And I can't smell enough garlic. I want garlic in this Osso Buco because garlic is a very important part of this dish. Now, once that's in, I'm going to put a little touch of stock. And this is, you can use a beef stock, you can use a chicken stock. The important thing here is that the flour on the outside of the frog legs, the Osso Buco, will go ahead and thicken that stock to a really nice sauce or gravy. And I'm going to put a little red wine, a touch of red wine to color it that nice dark color, and then season it. A little salt, pepper, put a little Worcestershire sauce in it if you wanted to. I'm going to come in right here and put a little of my Louisiana hot sauce, my little pepper sauce to give it that spice. And once that's in, then of course I can go ahead and cover it and either put it in the oven. As I say, you know, just do whatever you'd like here. I'm going to go ahead and pot roast them. I'm going to put the lid on it just like that. And of course, think about herbs, any type of herbs. Herbs de Provence would be nice in here. You can put basil, you can put thyme. Any of those nice things would go right in. That was in the flour, but put a little bit more right on top of it. It's going to be great. Now what I want to do, I'm going to show you what this looks like when it's all said and done. Let me get this out of the way. And I want to show you what that Osso Buco platter looks like with the sauce. Look how nice and thick it is. Look at all those pretty colors. Isn't that a beautiful dish? I want to just kind of finish garnishing it again with a little bit. I love color on the plate, you know that. So I like to put a little bit more on because it makes a beautiful centerpiece dish on the table. Just absolutely exquisite. So that's my Osso Buco of frog legs. And tell people you saw it right here because they won't believe that you can Osso Buco frog legs. The next dish that I want to do for you is kind of equally strange because you need big frog legs to do it. And this is, and take a look at these, this is going to be a stuffed frog leg. And again, you need some really big ones. So I'm starting out here with the frog legs, and you have to debone the top because this is where you're going to stuff them. You're going to stuff them right here. So you take the bone and you use a paring knife. You don't want to cut through the leg. You want to just kind of scrape that bone all the way down like this until you get to the knee joint. And when you get to the knee joint, you just want to cut it out or break it. I have some already done here. And this one's already cleaned all the way through, and you leave the bone in the leg here. Now, I have to make a little stuffing real fast. I'm going to do a crab meat stuffing. You can use bread, cornbread. You can put meat in it or no meat. I'm using, as I say, crab meat. Look at here. I have, what's this, the brown, the claw crab meat, the sweetest of the crab meat, I think. The jumbo lump, which will give us good texture. Of course, red bell pepper. I have all kind of nice garlics and a lot of great herbs and spices. I'm going to do this like I do a crab cake. A little bit mayonnaise down in here. A little touch of Creole mustard. Give it that good Louisiana flavor. A little touch of Creole mustard. And then season it with your favorites. A little pepper, a little salt. Throw a few more herbs in here. I'm going to put a little basil and thyme down in there. Just kind of chop it in. And then go ahead and mix it just as you would crab cakes. You could fry these in a crab cake fashion, just smooth them all together. And then to hold it, of course, I'm going to put some breadcrumbs. You want to dust a little seasoned Italian breadcrumbs into it. And what you have here is a really, really nice stuffing. Put as much of the breadcrumbs as you need to hold it all together. I don't like a bready stuffing. I like a stuffing that really has all of the meat in it. And this is really good. You can use scallops or shrimp, whatever. Now, let this sit and flavor for a little while. And, of course, if you have any left, pat them in little crab patties and just go ahead and pan fry them. They're going to be wonderful. I have some of this already on the tray. So I want to stuff this little frog leg. I want to just kind of put a hole through it like this. You want to run your finger down in there and then stuff the meat right down into it like this. And then to hold it together during the frying process or the sautéing process, you want to use a toothpick. And this is a little cumbersome, but you want to go through it with the toothpick and then come back around, kind of thread it through, so to speak, and run it through the other side as I've done here. And you have the stuffing's going to really hold nicely. I have about 3 of them already done. So let me fire up this skillet here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit buttery flavored oil down into the pan because we're going to saute these for just a second. We're going to make a Creole style or a Provençal style frog leg here. This is going to be quickly cooked, too, very quickly cooked. No flour because we're going to have a nice sauce made with tomatoes. So go ahead and put these in. I'm going to season them in the pan. I want all of my seasoning to stick right into the pan. So I'm going to come right on the top of the frog legs here with the pepper, a little bit salt, put a little touch of hot sauce in like this, and just kind of let this saute around the pan for just a minute while all of these good flavors come together. And, of course, that pepper is roasting down on the bottom of the pan at this point. So I just kind of move them around. And these do cook very, very quickly. The only thing is you want to heat the frog leg and the stuffing all the way through. So once they start to sear like this, Again, doesn't take long. Then I would come back and put all of my flavors in. Again, this is Provençal or Louisiana Creole, so I would put a little onions, celery, bell pepper, my trinity of flavors, all in the pot. And then, of course, some pretty bell peppers. I'm going to use some of the orange bell peppers. Look in the stores. There's so many different colors of bell peppers available, and they don't necessarily taste any different than any other bell pepper, but I tell you, they sure make the dish look a lot better. I'm going to put some basil and thyme here. And look how pretty that is. A lot of garlic. This is Creole style or Provençal style. And now my fresh tomatoes are going to go in. Have you ever seen a prettier dish? I love color. This ought to tell you something about this dish, huh? A little black olives. And then, of course, fresh tomato sauce and stock. Now, you just want to kind of put this in. A little stock in here to thin it out, and just let this simmer here for a couple of minutes. Move those frog legs around. Look how hot that is. And just simmer that sauce and let all of these things go until they all come together. Look how nice that is. And finish it with a little bit parsley, a little bit green onions. In fact, I'm going to put some of those right on top of here right now. A little bit parsley, a little bit green onions. Look at the colors in this dish. You can throw a bay leaf in it if you wanted to. And, of course, I'm going to throw in some herbs de Provence, which you can get at any of your stores. And I want to show you, even though it's not all the way cooked, it's kind of medium rare right now, which a lot of people like to eat some of the frog legs medium rare because they're so tender. They fall apart after they cook a little while, so you have to be careful with them. I want to take this real pretty platter here, and I'm going to show you how I would plate this up with the Provençal sauce. I would take the frog legs, and remember the stuffing is right in the center there. And this could cook probably total about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay? And then take some of that wonderful Provençal sauce. This is nice and fresh looking, really flavorful. And again, this is a dish that you could bake too if you wanted to. I mean, I would just allow this to simmer for a couple of minutes, and look how pretty that is. And then, of course, come back and put a little bit parsley, a little bit fresh herbs on top of it. Isn't that a gorgeous dish? Really a pretty dish from the Rayne Frog Festival. Now, also, I have a couple dishes here that I want to show you that I picked up there. This is a frog leg pasta. Frog legs with a little basil sauce and a little roasted red pepper sauce, and then the baked frog legs. This is frog legs baked in kind of an Italian dressing, herbs and spices and all of that. Well, I have to tell you about my guest who's coming into the kitchen to visit with me right now, Martha Royer. Not only does she know a lot about Rayne, she lives in the town. She has a great bed and breakfast there. I've stayed there. I love it. But she's a great cook and a great tour guide from the area. And, hey, I can hear those footsteps.
Hi,
how you doing?
how
Good
you
to see
doing,
you. Good
John?
to see you. How you been? Huh?
Fine.
Everything's going okay in Rayne. I know it. Huh?
Yes.
What a nice town. Huh?
It is.
What hospitable people, I should say.
Thank you.
We had a really great time the last time we were over in Rayne, and we stayed at your bed and breakfast. And remember what we ate that morning?
Oh, we had biscuits with gratons.
Oh, my dear Senora Tipo Steve. Oh, it was great. Eggs and grits.
Fried eggs and grits with garlic. And
let's show them how to make the biscuits.
God,
I loved your biscuits. I mean, I really did. I thought they were fantastic. And what we have here is a little flour, and of course everybody has their own recipe for biscuits, but I'm going to put into this a little sugar and a little baking powder. You know, you've been a good cook for a long time, right? Huh?
Long time.
Well, it can't be that long. You're not that old.
Oh, you know, when we grow up in this area, we cook a long time and dance a long time.
Oh, cook and dance, they go hand in hand, right?
That's right.
You want to dance after you eat a meal in Cajun country, right? Now, I'm putting a little butter or shortening, of course. You can crack an egg in it or whatever you want to do. I'm going to put a little bit milk into it, a little milk to just go ahead and make that biscuit really good. This is called cat head biscuits, those big cat head biscuits. Just kind of stir that around a little bit. And while you're stirring that, I want to show everybody what's going to flavor it while you're whipping all of that together. Okay. This is the gratons. This is the crackling. Why don't you have to tell them what this is.
Oh, yes. We have to tell them what crackling is all about. when we do the boucheries in the Cajun area.
That's when we kill the pig.
We kill the pig
and
get
make
our
all the
meat
sausages.
and our sausage, our boudin, and we come up with the fat on the top of the pig. We take that fat, we make a gratin, which is this, and it's the frying of the fat. But also we can melt the fat and do lard with.
Yeah, but it's
lard.
kind of unhealthy now.
Well, yeah, we're not going to get into that. Huh?
But then we chop up the gratin and we put it right down into the biscuit batter and stir that around. I think everybody has the idea. Now, of course, we throw it onto a baking dish. Why don't you pull that big basket of gratin biscuits right there? Isn't that fantastic? Look at the size of those things. That's about what yours looks like?
And tight race.
So yours is a little bit better than mine. Sit down right here. We're going to chat a little bit about biscuits and about all of those great things. I tell you, I love the town of Rayne. I discovered it many years ago, and it's the Jumping Frog Contest. Is there any association between the contest here and the contest in Calaveras County, California?
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that because we're researching that right now through the chamber. And we found out about them, and I promise you, we are working on that, and we want them to be coming to Rayne, or we going there to find out what it's all about. But we want to have the biggest frog.
you want to win the contest.
We want to win the contest.
Man, look at these great biscuits. There's a couple of them sitting right in front of us here, a little pear jelly on the plate. Now, I should start munching on these while we're talking here. Now, you got into the tour business. You got involved in bringing people from all over the world around Acadiana. What drove you into that business?
Loving people, liking people, and wanting to share our hospitality here and our warm Cajun atmosphere, and just showing that we have a lot here. And that's what got me going.
And people are excited about it when they come. And where did he come from? I mean, people coming into Acadiana every day, where did he come from?
All over the world. That's what's so amazing. I mean, even the Cajuns go, oh, I can't believe there's French people staying with you. You know, they can't believe they came all the way from France to stay with us. So they come from all over.
You know, when I think of the city, I think of the beautiful murals on the wall. I think of the hospitality. Even the fire hydrants are painted painted in frog fashion, of course, as a tribute to those three French guys who came. But why visit Rayne? What else is there?
Well, it's in the heart of Acadiana, and there's so much to offer in that radius of 1 hour. You can see prairie land, which prairie land means flat land, grassy. Then you can go south, which is marshes, a wonderful hunting for the people that love to hunt and fish. And then east of that is the bayou, Evangeline, Tabasco, the Henderson Swamp, the Chafalaya, the largest swamp in the world, right there and within an hour's drive. That's why I think it'd be important for you to come and stay in our area.
I need to do that again.
Okay.
What about, I mean, tell the murals, of course, people are getting off of the interstate there at Rayne just to come to the town to view the murals. How did that project come about? Who painted them?
It was a beautification committee in Rayne. It was a group of beautiful ladies that said, look, we need to do something unique for the town. Let's capitalize on the frogs. Being that it was an industry for 40 years, let's start painting frogs all over the walls of the town. And that was the most wonderful idea, because everybody knows us as the frog capital of the world.
Well, you know, I can imagine somebody driving into that town for the first time, not knowing it's the frog capital of the world, and coming in and seeing these magnificent pictures and magnificent, I mean, it's just really incredible. Does all of the restaurants in the area also carry frogs as a part of their daily menu, frog legs, the dishes we created?
Well, I tell you what, John, we're working on that very hard at the moment to where we can have many more varieties. We have some of the restaurants that are working on that right now.
Right.
But we're really working hard on having this.
Tell me about the bed and breakfast. What a beautiful place. What got you into it?
Well, I love people, and then I love to cook. So let's get a big place and house them and feed them.
Well, I was lucky enough to spend it. What's that architecture? I mean, the architecture really looks interesting.
Well, it has a cowboyish, prairie-looking architectural to the house because of being in the prairie area of our southwest Louisiana. And it has a 2-story, 3,500 square feet, 6 rooms with 6 baths. So I can accommodate a lot of people.
Well, I tell you, what a beautiful place. The colors are so vivid and the beautiful staircase. And I knew the architecture wasn't Cajun and Creole, but it was wonderful. And then I woke up to that fabulous breakfast. I'll remember it until my next visit. Thank you so much for coming and sharing all those great. And y'all keep up all that frog business. We have to get Calaveras County on the line and see what we can do about it. And thank all of you for coming in and visit with us as we talk about fairs and festivals, and drop in again as we cook up more great Taste of Louisiana. We're going to eat cat head biscuits. I have mine.
Funding for this program is provided by the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Vieux Carré, Zydeco, Atchafalaya, Natchitoches. In Louisiana, you'll say things you've never seen before.
More information on events in Louisiana can be yours at no cost. Call 1-800-36-GUMBO for your free Louisiana tour guide, listing festivals, attractions, and points of interest throughout the Bayou State. Chef John Folse's Louisiana Sampler, a companion cookbook to this series, contains the colorful history and culinary secrets behind Louisiana's most exciting festivals. For your copy, send a check or money order for $19.95 to Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Or use your credit card by calling toll-free 1-800-973-7246.